Hey, I'm Steve Volkers.
Susan Pastor.
Julie Bacon.
And this is What's in the Cup. Cheers.
Cheers.
So we've been talking about networking in this video series, and we just really want to wrap it up with how do you follow up, right? So the critical component is you went, you met people, you have a pocket full of business cards if you brought business cards and received, but you hopefully did what we told you to, right? In connecting with another human being. Now it's how do you take that connection to long lasting, right? So advice, ladies, you have?
I get business cards. I have a special place in my purse. I put them. And B, I text myself after I walk away with various ideas that we talked about at that point in time. And then as soon as I can, the next morning or afternoon when I'm back in the office, I send an email, make a phone call, and that way with my text and the business cards, I can remember exactly what we talked about and how I was of interest to somebody or how I could help them.
Right. Yep.
That's
Susan,
what I do.
you got anything?
Yeah, one of the things I like to use is the electronic business card on your phone. I will text them the next day my electronic business card because people give us their cards, but then they have to actually key it in to make sure that they're...
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and it has your picture and all of your information from your office. If you don't have one, make one. If you don't know how to do it, call me. And then you text it as a follow-up to say, I want to make sure you have this in your phone. It was a pleasure to meet with you. And then 2 or 3 days later, call back for coffee or a personal note, something like that.
Yeah.
I have definitely learned something today.
Yeah. So I use Facebook. So Facebook is my follow-up. So this is another thing that I just have used over the years is I will actually Facebook friend request them like within an hour after we met so they don't forget our conversation or me. And usually that's at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Yep. And they're on their phone right at that moment because they're looking for pictures from that event, right? So I capture them at the moment they're on their phone. Everyone's back into whatever their normal lives are away from the networking event, either at home or if they're at a conference in their hotel room. And if I hit them at 10 or 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning, depending on what was in the cup, then I'm going to have a conversation with them really quick. And I just traditionally will send them a message the minute they accept the friend request. Hey, it was great to meet you today. Just let me know if I can help in any way. And then I just leave it there. And it's amazing that conversation that will happen then. And I mentally try to know that I'm going to have a half an hour worth of texting conversations afterwards, which then just sort of secure that networking opportunity to follow up with.
Do you add them to your list? Like if you have an email campaign that goes out, so everyone you meet, do they become part of your email campaign? The reason I ask, so again, at one of your networking events several years ago, I met a lady and she was a travel planner. And I love to travel. I think travel is fascinating. And so when she sends me these emails, I take a look at them. I haven't needed her services. I was trying to book a cruise. It was too complicated. I just couldn't figure it out. So literally for 2 years, I've been in her drip campaign, really haven't spent a lot of time. And I called her 2 years later. So putting someone's contact in doesn't mean they're going to turn around and buy a house from you in 3 weeks or 3 months, but you've added them and the repetition counts.
Yeah. I mean, it's a balance between spamming and not, right? So as long as she's bringing something of value to you, I think is the key.
Because I like travel, so I didn't put it in my spam because I just wanted to see it.
So real estate agents, right? Or lenders, right? If you're going to just send out your weekly email blast that's provided from the lending institution that you are, I have 8 of those on Monday and 5 of them are the same, right? So just be careful if you're going to add me to a list that is something of value. And you're balancing that value in based on the relationship that you want to occur. But I think it's similar to what you said about don't scan, right? Don't scan me.
Yes.
If you add them to a list right away, are they going to feel as though that relationship was not the human connection that they wanted to? So I think it's great if that person, which I'm sure she had awesome photos and great deals, so it was valuable for you. But just be careful on the value you bring. Does that make?
Yes.
Well, that brings me kind of back to another episode, though. Don't discount who you're meeting at these events.
Right.
I mean, there was a
never know.
travel planner at a real estate event. Good for her.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, that's
incredible, right?
That's great. So, yeah, don't discount whoever you're meeting.
Right. Well, and it's about relationships. Networking in and of itself is building relationships with other human beings, and who knows what comes of it, right? We were at a conference or at a luncheon yesterday, and a big company talked about karma, and what you put in, you get back out, right? And they don't worry about the back out,
I was
No.
like,
right?
yes.
They worried about what do
What
they
you
put
put
in?
in.
How am I putting
Yes.
in? And so networking, if you walk into the room and you say, what am I going to add? What am I going to put in this week? What am I going to put in this half an hour or this 15 minutes? And don't worry about the return. The networking will equal the return over time.
Yeah. How
Right?
many of you guys have walked out of a networking event with a deal?
It's not like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I think the early we would go into our earliest
Yeah.
episode when people think of networking and it's new to you,
Right.
you think I'm going in to get a deal, going in to get a sale. You're not.
Nope.
You're going in to build an
business.
interesting group of friends that over time are going to help you grow. It's got pillars and layers.
Yep.
What layers? Like an onion?
And you
Sure.
peel it, you
Like an onion.
peel the onion.
I think we better end this episode. So I'm Steve Volkers,
Susan Pastor.
Julie Bacon.
and this is What's in the Cup. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Out.
You know the Shrek.